You ever walk into a room and just know your life's about to blow up? That was me. One random Thursday. It was supposed to be just another long-ass day at the site pouring concrete for a new development off Main and 12th. Except the supplier messed up and we got the afternoon off. I thought, cool, I'll surprise Britt with lunch. Do something sweet for once since I'd been working weekends non-stop. I pulled up to the house, our house, the one I'd put a down payment on after saving for 2 damn years. And right there in the driveway was Zach's busted-ass Jeep. That car still smelled like weed and regret. My little brother was supposed to be at the music store, his latest dream job funded by Mommy Dearest, of course. But nah, there it was, parked in my spot. And I swear something just twisted in my gut. The door was unlocked. Music playing upstairs, All of Me, by John freaking Legend. Our engagement song. The one I played when I proposed up at Estes Ridge in the snow with the ring that nearly wiped out my savings. My boots were barely off when I noticed a sweater. Britt's favorite beige one lying on the stairs like it belonged to a stranger. Then came Zach's crusty old band tee. Clothes. Going up. I didn't even breathe walking up those stairs. Just this numb, detached kind of rage. I already knew. Before I opened the door, before I even turned the knob, I knew. And when I saw them, I froze, like my brain short-circuited. Zach, my little brother, in bed with Brittany, my fiancée. And they didn't even notice me at first. I wish I could say I screamed, threw a punch, lost my mind, but all I did was stand there, watching, like I was outside my own body. When they finally looked up, I'll never forget this. Zach literally goes, "Oh shit, bro," like he spilled coffee on the couch. Brittany starts crying, trying to cover herself with the sheet. Jake, wait, I can explain. Nah, no explanation was ever gonna make that okay. I walked out, didn't say a damn word. Sat in my truck in silence for maybe an hour. I remember my fingers digging into the steering wheel, white knuckles, shaking, but no tears, not yet. Just heat in my chest and static in my head. Eventually, they came out. Zach bolted to his Jeep. Brittany stood there in her robe makeup running down her face. She opened her mouth like she wanted to speak. I shut the truck door. I should have driven away, but instead I went back inside. How long? That's all I said. She fumbled, tried to talk around it. I didn't mean for this to happen, Jake. We were spending time together. No, I snapped. How long? 2 years. 2 fucking years. Every weekend I worked overtime to build a life for us. She was sneaking off with him. Every time she said she had papers to grade or family time with my mom, it was a lie. The worst part, she actually sat on our couch, the one I spent 3 paychecks on, and tried to justify it. Said she and Zach had this connection I couldn't understand. Something about music. About feeling seen. You ever feel your soul just hollow out? I gave her till the end of the day to get her SIT and leave. She cried again, tried to guilt me. I walked out and bought new locks. She left a note, of course. 5 pages of handwritten, "I didn't mean to hurt you, and I'll always love you. Screw that." And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, it did. Emma, my sister, was the only one who told me what happened next. Turns out Brittany ran straight to my parents' house, broke down crying in my mom's rose garden like a damn soap opera. And what does my mom do? Hugs her. Tells her everything happens for a reason. Tells her maybe it's all meant to be. She made her dinner. Fucking dinner. The same day she got caught screwing my brother. Then Zach shows up all doe-eyed and remorseful. They sit around the table having this kumbaya moment like they're star-crossed lovers in some cheap Hallmark flick. My mom, she's eating it up. Want to know what she says? I always knew Brittany and Zach had a special bond. I couldn't believe it. My own mother, playing matchmaker to the 2 people who wrecked my life. Brittany moved in within a week, not even back to her own parents' place, no. She moved into my old room, the one I painted blue and gray for the future I was building. And guess what? My mom helped her move her stuff. Meanwhile, I was in my apartment staring at the empty walls. She took the couch, the kitchen table, even the fucking throw pillows. Left me with nothing but bills and a half-paid ring. I ghosted everyone. Changed passwords, blocked numbers, nuked social media. Only person I stayed in touch with was Emma Barely. Even she started wobbling. Maybe we should try to see their side, she said once. Their side, I laughed. They fucked me over and moved into my old life. That was the first time I thought I need to leave. Not just emotionally, physically. And that's when the Texas job came up. I didn't tell a soul. I just watched, quiet, while they played Happy Family. Next Thanksgiving. And that's when SHAT hit the fan for real. Thanksgiving, that's the day everything snapped. I hadn't seen or spoken to any of them since I caught my brother and fiancé treating my bed like a hotel room. I blocked numbers, nuked my socials, kept my head down, worked long hours, hit the gym, tried to put my life back together in pieces. But my mom, she wasn't done. She started this little campaign like a goddamn PR agent for Zach and Brittany. First it was texts. We're all hurting. This family needs healing. Let love lead. Barf. Then she left voicemails about moving forward and giving second chances, like I was the one who wrecked someone's engagement. She even called my boss. No, I'm not kidding. Called the office asking if I was okay, saying she hadn't heard from me and was concerned for my mental state. I guess manipulating people is a hobby for her. So when Thanksgiving rolled around, I wasn't planning on going anywhere near that house. Emma was the only one I still semi-trusted, and even she was on thin fucking ice. But she called me that morning practically begging. Said Dad really wanted to see me, said we didn't have to stay long, just show up, grab a plate, be civil. Against every gut instinct, I agreed. And I regret it to this day. I showed up around 4 p.m., bottle of wine in hand, just to look normal. The second I stepped through the front door, I knew I'd walked into a setup. Zach and Brittany were sitting at the dining table, my table, like they were hosting. Her hair was tied up in that little bun she used to wear when she wanted to look cute casual, wearing that sweater I bought her last Christmas. Zach had his arm around her chair, all smug and settled in. And my mom beaming, absolutely glowing, like she just landed a Pinterest dream. I stood in the entryway staring. The whole room went quiet, no one moved. Then my mom stepped forward like this was a goddamn intervention. Jacob, she said softly, rehearsed as hell. We need to heal. As a family. I laughed. I actually laughed. It was that kind of bitter, dry laugh where if you don't laugh, you'll scream. Dad nodded along like some bobblehead on a dashboard. Emma sat next to Zach and Britt, next to them, looking everywhere but at me. That's when my mom dropped the fucking bomb. We invited Brittany's parents too. They'll be here soon. It's time we blended the families now that Zach and Brittany are getting serious. Getting serious. Like this wasn't the plot of a trashy soap opera. Like this wasn't a full-blown betrayal layered with incestuous energy. I didn't say a word, just turned around and walked out. Went to McDonald's. Ate a Big Mac alone in my truck while other sad, broken people walked around in their sweatpants and divorce energy. And somehow, that was better. Better than sitting in that house and pretending anything about it was okay. Sitting there chewing stale fries, something clicked in my head. That was it. The final crack. There was nothing left to salvage. I pulled out my phone and made a list. How to disappear. Not like witness protection disappear, but disappear from them. From all of it. I had a job offer waiting in Houston. Better pay, new team, new city. They'd been asking if I could start in January. I called them the next day and said, what if I started next week? Boss was thrilled. After that, it was logistics. Moved my money into a new bank account. Canceled the lease early, surprisingly easy after I told my landlord what happened. Turns out he'd gone through something similar and waived 2 months of penalty. Respect. I switched phone carriers. Got a new number. You know they can track every call and text if you're on a family plan, yeah. Guess who had the main account? My mom. That ends now. I deleted every social. Backed up my photos first, of course, but everything else gone. New email, new passwords, blocked everyone. I even nuked Emma. Not because I hated her, I didn't. But she didn't stop any of it. And that's basically the same as choosing a side. I sold or donated anything Brittany had ever touched. That goddamn couch gone. I posted it for free on Craigslist. Some college kids picked it up within the hour. I hope they set it on fire. I packed what little I had left. Told my two closest buddies at the construction site what was going on. They didn't ask questions, just showed up and helped me load the U-Haul. One of them even offered me his spare couch when I got to Houston. Then I left. It was cold as hell. December 15th. I remember my breath fogging up the inside of the windshield as I drove out of town in the dark. The highway was empty, perfectly still. I turned off the radio and just drove in silence for hours. Around noon, somewhere in Oklahoma, my phone lit up. Unknown number, Colorado area code. I almost ignored it. But curiosity, yeah, it gets you sometimes. I answered. Jacob, the voice cracked. It's Aunt Mel. My mom's sister. The only one in that whole damn family who wasn't fake. She was crying. Said she had bad news. My mom, she'd been diagnosed with breast cancer. Stage 4. Terminal. 3 months left. Maybe less. Said mom was asking to see me. Said she wanted peace. And for a second, just 1 second, I felt it. That tug, that stupid childlike hope. I booked a flight that night. Whole way there, I was thinking about the good times. Her yelling at the TV during Broncos games. The way she used to make homemade waffles on Sundays. The time she drove 6 hours just to watch me play one high school game. I was convincing myself that maybe, just maybe, this could be a fresh start. That maybe people really can change when death's at the door. Aunt Mel picked me up from the airport. She looked nervous. Said mom was at home resting. I walked into that house, the house I grew up in, the house I hadn't set foot in since Brittany moved in, and instantly knew something was off. There was no hospital bed, no oxygen tank, no nurse. And my mom sitting in the living room, dressed, hair done, smiling through fake tears. Zach and Brittany were there too, holding hands, Emma, Dad, even Brittany's parents. And I just stood there. It took me about 5 seconds to put it together. You faked it, I said. Silence. You faked having cancer. No one denied it. Mom stood up doing that dramatic quiver voice she always does. I was desperate, Jacob. I couldn't let our family fall apart. I couldn't even speak. I turned to Aunt Mel. She looked stunned. They'd lied to her too. Told her I was suicidal. Said this was the only way to save me. And these people thought I was the broken one. That was the last straw, the final unfixable fracture. I looked at every person in that room and said one thing. The only reason I came back was because I thought my mother was dying. Congratulations, you just killed any chance of ever having a relationship with me again. I walked out. Didn't take my coat, didn't grab my bag, just walked. They called after me. Brittany tried to follow me out the door. Jake, please, you have to understand. I didn't even turn around. Aunt Mel drove me to the airport. She was crying real tears this time. She apologized. I told her she had nothing to be sorry for. She got played like the rest of us. That night back in Houston, I stared at the ceiling of my one-bedroom apartment and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Not happiness, not joy, but peace. And honestly, that was enough. Texas saved me. I moved into a small place outside Houston. 1 bedroom, nothing fancy, but it was mine. No ghosts in the walls. No reminders of betrayal. Just concrete floors, bare walls, and peace. For the first time in a long-ass time, I could actually hear myself think. Work was solid. The company was expanding fast, and within 3 months, I got bumped up to project manager. Bigger pay, more responsibilities, but I didn't mind. It kept me focused, helped me forget. I bought a new truck, an F-150 black, fully loaded. Not because I needed it, but because I could. It was the same model Zach used to drool over back when he was too busy chasing his dreams to get a job. Call it petty. I call it closure. Then I started training MMA at this local gym a buddy recommended. Didn't join to fight, I just needed to hit something without going to jail for it. Over time, I got better. Stronger. Not just physically up here too. The nights got easier. The anger got quieter. Then I met Sarah. She was at the gym working the front desk on weekends and training during the week. Tough, confident, smart as hell. Turns out she was a trauma nurse, which explained the "I've seen worse than your baggage" attitude. We hit it off slow. Real slow. I wasn't in the market for anything serious, and she didn't push. But she got it. The long shifts, the burnout, the mental weight you don't even realize you're carrying. For the first time, someone just met me where I was. No trying to fix me, no manipulation. Just real shitty. We kept it casual for a few months, then slowly it turned into something real. She came over after shifts, helped me furnish the place piece by piece. Nothing girly, nothing forced, just building a life one Target trip at a time. She never pressed for details about my past, said she didn't need to know unless I wanted to tell her. I appreciated that. I gave her bits and pieces enough for her to understand I came from a toxic situation. She respected the space. That was the first red flag I missed. She respected my space, but she was talking to my family behind my back. I didn't know it at the time, of course. Thought everything was good. I mean, she even blocked my mom on Instagram when I vented about her being manipulative. Said fuck that no one deserves to be guilt-tripped by their own mother. She had my back, or so I thought. Christmas was coming up, our first real one together. Sarah invited me to spend it with her folks in Dallas. I agreed. Honestly, I was excited. Her parents were chill. Her dad was a retired firefighter who loved hearing about construction projects, and her mom cooked like she was feeding an army. It was the most normal I'd felt in years. Christmas Eve was perfect. We made fettuccine Alfredo from scratch, their family tradition, exchanged gifts, watched Die Hard because, yes, it's a Christmas movie. It felt safe, simple, familiar in a way I hadn't felt since before everything went to hell. Then came Christmas Day. We were all just hanging out, setting the table for dinner. Sarah's mom mentioned some family friends were stopping by. I didn't think twice. Figured it was some church couple or her dad's old work buddies. Then the doorbell rang. I heard my mom's voice before I even saw her. "Jacob, honey, we brought gifts." My stomach dropped. I turned, and there they were. My mom, my dad, Zach, Brittany, Emma. And guess who'd opened the door with a goddamn smile on her face? Sarah. I didn't move. I couldn't. It felt like someone had hit me in the chest with a sledgehammer. I looked at her. She looked guilty. Like a kid who broke something but hoped you wouldn't notice. "You knew," I said. Her lip trembled. I thought if you just saw them, maybe. My mom stepped forward like she was on stage. "Sweetheart, we're just trying to help. What they did was wrong. But your actions have been unacceptable too. Running away, cutting us out, that's not how family works." Zach was behind her, holding Brittany's hand like some dollar store Prince Charming. Brittany had the nerve to wear the necklace I gave her our first Christmas together. Dad said something about enough being enough and it's time to move on. And Brittany, she opened her mouth like she was about to share a deep, emotional monologue. Probably something about love finding its own path. I cut her off. Turned to Sarah. "Find your own way home. I'll come get my stuff later." She looked like I slapped her. Everyone started talking at once. Sarah begging, Mom crying, Zach stepping forward like he had anything worth saying. I didn't even process the words, just noise, white-hot noise. I turned to leave, and that's when Mom grabbed my arm. "You can't just erase your family, Jacob," she snapped. "Our name means something. I raised you better than this." That stopped me. I looked her right in the eye. "I changed my name months ago." Dead silence. She actually staggered back like I punched her. Collapsed into a chair, wailing about legacy and tradition like someone had died. I left. The drive back to Houston was long and quiet. Sarah called 50 times. I didn't answer once. Her voicemails were all variations of "I was trying to help. Your mom said you were struggling. I just wanted to fix things." Classic manipulation victim. My mom had played her perfectly. Told her stories. Sent her old photos. Built this narrative about a broken son who needed a little push. And Sarah, being the fixer she was, thought she was saving me. Nope, she was betraying me. I got back to my apartment around 3 a.m. The Christmas tree we'd decorated was still lit. all the presents still wrapped. I boxed up every gift she'd ever given me, every note, every keepsake, even the toothbrush from my bathroom, and dropped it all off at her place the next morning before she got home. Didn't leave a note, didn't respond to her texts, just vanished from her life the way I had from everyone else's. And then the final twist. She'd been talking to my mom for months. Not just about Christmas, about everything. Where I worked, who I was seeing, what I was doing. My mom used her as a fucking spy. I'd moved across the country, changed my number, deleted everything. And still she found a way back in. I felt like a fucking idiot. But you know what? That was the last time. I locked it down, hard. No more chances. No more openings. I built my wall higher, thicker, reinforced with steel and spite. And then, something unexpected happened. My company won this big contract. Demolition and rebuild of foreclosed properties across Colorado. Guess what was on the list? My parents' house. The one they remortgaged to fund Zach and Brittany's wedding. The house where my future was destroyed. The house where my mother orchestrated the biggest betrayal of my life. I personally volunteered to oversee the demo. And I made damn sure I was there front and center when the wrecking ball hit. Next part, that's where karma finally shows up. And she doesn't knock, she breaks the fucking door down. Demolition day came on a Tuesday. I flew into Colorado the night before, checked into a quiet motel outside Fort Collins, and didn't tell a single soul I was in town. No texts, no calls, no social media check-ins. Just me, a suitcase, and the job. The job. That's what I kept telling myself this was. Professional. Just another project. But the second I pulled up to the old neighborhood and saw that crooked little mailbox with Lawson still barely legible on the side, something twisted in my chest. That house used to be everything. Birthdays, football parties, Sunday dinners. The garage where Dad and I rebuilt a '96 Mustang from scratch. The front porch where I kissed Brittany goodnight the first time and thought, yeah, maybe this is it. Now it was just another address on a contract, another pile of bad memories with an excavator parked out front. The crew was already setting up when I got there. Foreman handed me the paperwork, asked if I wanted to give the signal. I didn't even hesitate. Yeah, I said, let's get this thing gone. The first crunch of brick and drywall was louder than I expected. Felt like thunder rolling through my ribs. Windows shattered. The roof caved in like it had been holding its breath for years. By noon, it was rubble. I stood there the whole time, arms crossed, hard hat tilted low, watching every wall collapse. Didn't smile, didn't cry, just watched. Then, of course, she showed up. My mom. Of fucking course. Some nosy neighbor must have tipped her off. I saw her pull up in some beat-up old sedan, not the SUV she used to drive like royalty. She stepped out wearing that same ratty gardening sweater I remembered from childhood, except now it hung off her like she'd shrunk. She looked older, thinner, worn out. She didn't see me at first. She just stood on the sidewalk, staring at the wreckage, eyes wide like she couldn't believe it was real. And for a second, one stupid second, I almost felt something. Almost. Then she turned and spotted me. Jacob, she gasped. I didn't move. She hurried over, hands out, like she expected a hug or forgiveness or whatever the hell people like her hope for when they burn down every bridge. This is your doing, she asked, looking from me to the wreckage. It was on the list, I said. Your mortgage defaulted, not my problem. Her face crumpled. But that was our home. No, that was your nest. The one you built to protect liars and traitors. It stopped being my home the second you let them live there. I didn't know it would go this far, she whispered. Bullshit. She always knew. She just never thought there'd be consequences. I turned and walked back toward the truck. She didn't follow. Later that night, I got dinner with Emma. Yeah, Emma. She reached out after the demo photo went viral on some local contractor forum. Guess someone filmed the house getting flattened and captioned it, "Karma meets the suburbs." We met at a diner. Nothing fancy. She looked tired but clearer. Like maybe she'd finally stopped drinking the family Kool-Aid. First thing she did when I sat down? Apologized. Not one of those weak excuse-filled apologies. A real one. She said she'd spent the past year in therapy. Said she'd finally accepted that staying quiet made her complicit. That watching Brittany and Zach play house while mom fed them homemade pie and pretending it was fine, that was betrayal too. She told me everything. And I mean everything. Turns out the family fell apart. Zach and Brittany didn't even make it a full year. 6 months in, she cheated on him with his best friend. The same guy who was best man at their wedding. Classic. Oh, and guess what? She's pregnant. With the best friend's kid. Yeah, let that sink in. The same Brittany who cried about not being ready for motherhood when I mentioned wanting kids someday, now knocked up by Zach's old drinking buddy. Zach lost it. Started drinking heavy. Got fired from the music store for showing up buzzed one too many times. Moved back in with mom or well into their crappy 2-bedroom rental in a strip mall complex. Now he spends his days writing sad songs on TikTok about being betrayed by love. Zero irony. Mom. Yeah, about that. Turns out she wasn't just emotionally manipulative, she was financially reckless. Took out credit cards in dad's name to fund the wedding. Lied about bills. Covered Zach's rent for over a year without telling anyone. When they tried to refinance the house, the bank laughed them out the building. Dad finally snapped. Filed for separation. Moved in with Aunt Mel. Started therapy. Called me once, left a voicemail I never returned. Said he should have stood up to her sooner. Said he was sorry. Honestly, I believe him, but I'm not ready. And Brittany. Oh man. She's done. Word got out, apparently she had a history of hooking up with students' older siblings when she was still student teaching. Now, no school district will touch her. She's working a call center job in some rundown apartment complex with her new baby daddy. Her parents disowned her. Emma said they haven't spoken since the baby news came out. Apparently, they told her, "We supported you through one mistake. You made your bed. Now lie in it." As for mom, she's working as a greeter at Walmart. First real job she's held in 30 years. Wears a name tag and everything. Hates it. But with no house, no car, no savings, and 2 adult dependents leeching off her, she doesn't have a choice. Karma came hard. No breaks, no warning. But here's the twist. It didn't feel good. Not really. I thought watching them all fall apart would feel like justice, like winning, but mostly it just felt empty. Like watching a fire die out that you didn't start but stood too close to for too long. I drove back to Houston the next day. Quiet drive, music low, window cracked. And when I got home, Molly was there waiting. Yeah, Molly. We met at the grocery store of all places. She dropped a jar of pickles. I picked it up. The rest is cliche as hell, except she wasn't. She's not flashy, doesn't play games, works hard, talks straight. When I told her I had family drama, she didn't ask for details, just said, "Cool, I'm not here for your mom." She moved in 6 months ago. We're expecting. First ultrasound was 2 weeks ago. And when I told her about the family history, the full version screenshots and all, she blocked every single one of them before I could ask her to. Said our baby doesn't need that energy. She's right. A few days ago, a package showed up. No return label, but I knew the handwriting. Inside a box of my old baby stuff. Blankets, onesies, a rattle, and a 5-page letter from my mom about family legacies, forgiveness, and how every child deserves a grandmother. I kept the baby stuff. The letter straight in the trash. Emma's getting married next month. She invited me. Said dad would be there. No mom, no Zach, no Brittany. Just the people who finally owned their SHT. Molly told me she'd go with me if I wanted. She's not pushing it. Just said, "If you're ready, I've got your 6." I don't know yet. Some wounds heal, some just scar. But at least now I'm not bleeding anymore. I used to think closure was some big moment. Like one final confrontation where you say everything perfectly, walk away stronger, and never look back. But real closure, it's quieter. It's the morning you wake up and don't think about them first. It's cooking breakfast in silence and not picturing her sitting at the counter. It's not checking old texts, not feeling like you're missing something. It's just being okay, even if nothing got tied up in a neat little bow. That's where I am now. It's been almost a year since the demolition. Since I watched that house go down brick by lying brick. Since Brittany's world unraveled, Zach hit rock bottom, and my mom got her karma with a blue vest and a forced smile. And me. I've got peace. Real, unshakable, boring peace. Molly and I are expecting in a couple months. We're doing the nursery slowly, no themes, no Pinterest boards, just what feels right. Neutral colors, good lighting, practical storage. She says she doesn't want to overdo it. Says love and consistency matter more than wallpaper. I believe her. Every now and then, I'll catch myself wondering what kind of dad I'll be. If I'll screw up. If I'll be too harsh, too distant, too soft. But then I think I already know what not to do. That's something, right? I won't guilt-trip my kid for who they are. I won't play favorites. I won't weaponize love. I'll be better, not perfect, but better. That's the promise. A few weeks back, I sat Molly down and asked if she really wanted to hear the full story. Every ugly bit. From the first time Brittany came over for dinner to the fake cancer stunt all the way to the Christmas ambush. She nodded. I told her everything. No sugarcoating. She didn't flinch once. When I finished, she just sat back, took a deep breath, and said, "Damn, and you still came out decent." I laughed. Actually laughed. First time I'd ever told the whole thing out loud and didn't feel ashamed. And that's the thing, I didn't expect shame. For a while it stuck to me, like I was stupid for not seeing it sooner. Like I invited the betrayal. Like maybe I was too cold, too focused, too unavailable, too whatever. That's what gaslighting does to you. It makes you think their abuse is your fault. But the truth, I was loyal. I worked hard. I believed in people I shouldn't have, but that doesn't make me dumb. That makes me human. And being human is messy as hell. Sometimes you get burned. Sometimes you survive it. Sometimes you do both. Anyway, the baby's almost here. And with that has come a whole new wave of stuff. We started getting baby gifts from neighbors. Diapers, blankets. One sweet old lady brought over a handmade quilt. We put it over the rocker in the corner of the nursery. Then last week another package came. No name, no return address. Inside a baby book. You know the kind, the one with little slots for pictures and footprints and my first tooth moments. And taped to the front a note in that same painfully familiar handwriting. Every child deserves a connection to where they come from. I didn't even finish reading the rest. I handed it to Molly. She read it, raised an eyebrow, and without a word dropped it straight into the trash. She didn't ask if I wanted to keep it. Didn't offer some speech about forgiveness or family or legacy. She just backed my choice, no questions. That's love, by the way. Not manipulation, not guilt, not a fucking performance. Love is quiet, solid. It just shows up. Same week Emma texted. Wedding's coming fast. She asked again if I'd thought about coming. Said Dad's been sober 9 months. Said he's finally doing the work. No mom, no Zach, just her dad and a few close friends. I haven't replied yet. It's not because I'm mad, I'm not, it's just complicated. There's this part of me that wants to show up. Not for them, for me. To close that last little loop. To see if I can stand in that space without carrying all the old weight. To prove I made it out. And came back better. But there's another part of me that wonders why go back at all. Sometimes healing doesn't mean reattaching. Sometimes it just means walking forward and not looking over your shoulder. Molly said something the other night that stuck with me. We were folding baby clothes, just chatting, when she looked up and went, "Do you realize you broke the cycle?" I blinked. What? She shrugged. You got dealt a fucked up hand, and instead of passing it on, you burned it. That hit harder than I expected. Because yeah, I did. I could have stayed, could have married Brittany, swallowed the betrayal, played the good son card, let my mom keep pulling the strings. I didn't. I cut it all off, cold, clean, final. And that wasn't easy. That was damn near impossible. It meant letting go of my entire identity, family, history, childhood. But now, I've got something better. Not just a new life, a real life. One where I choose who's at the table. One where love doesn't come with conditions. One where my kid will grow up never having to earn their worth. And I won't lie, part of me still aches sometimes. Especially around the holidays. Especially when old songs come on. Especially when I drive by construction sites and remember the younger version of me full of hope, saving for a future that got ripped away. But even then, I don't regret a thing. Because that version of me died. And this one, the one Molly gets, the one our baby will grow up with. He's alive. Really alive. A few nights ago, I was alone in the nursery. Just standing there. No lights, just the soft hum of the white noise machine Molly insisted we get. I looked at the crib, the little stuffed elephant, the framed sonogram on the shelf. And I whispered something I hadn't said out loud before. I did it. Not in some victorious firework kind of way. Just peace, deep in my bones. I fucking did it. I survived. And now, it's not about revenge anymore. It's about legacy. The kind you build. Not the kind you're handed.